Hello, everyone. Welcome to Abnormal Investigations. It's good to see everybody tonight. I've been rearranging everything, so things may look a little different right now. I've been moving things around with some new ideas. Oh man, I tell you what, it has been a long day. I've got a lot of things done now, so that's a good thing. Get my earplugs on here so make it a little clearer. All right. So yeah, we've got a pretty good show lined up for everybody tonight. I'm going to need a psychologist taking these reports. I'm telling you, man, some of these are pretty dark and pretty twisted. Tonight is one of those that it's trying to think how to say. It's one of those that I just don't really know that I have a complete answer for, and we'll get more into that here in just a minute. First, I'd like to introduce some people, throw some people up. Hello, Sabrina. Hello, Starfire. Hello, Dana Affliction. Hello, Sharon Arms. Hello, Tyler 420. Michael Deer. Dana Ortega's in the house. It's always good to see Danish. I know that she's going to keep everything running smooth, and she'll make sure Larry shows up too. We got Keith Blunt in here. We got CRJ Designs in here. We got Ellen Smith in here. AI Mod is in here tonight, and she can't block me here. She's still beautiful, though. We got Beth Fuller here. Jim's camera at dawn. Tim Wrestler, thank you for that. God bless you. Oh man, I see so many familiar faces in here tonight, guys. This is going to be a good one. It's going to be one for the books, definitely. Sharon guys in here moderating tonight. Don't know how Sharon does it. She's always telling me to get rest, but I think Sharon's on the run more than I am. So, Sharon, I think me and you are running neck and neck. Lisa Marie, good to see you. It's been a long time. It has been a long time, Lisa. I remember you. It's good to see you. It's been a long time. Welcome back, and we hope to see you on more of the shows. Lisa's in the house. Keith Blunt's in the house. It's Sabrina's in the house. So a lot of familiar names out there, guys. If I missed anybody, I apologize. I try to do at least a roll call, and if I don't get you at the first of the show, I will try to throw you up during the show if you have questions or whatever. There's Mr. Walter right there. Good to see you, Walter. Walter's one of our followers that seems to be here with us most every time, and we appreciate that. Always good to see Walter. Mindy's in here. We got Pink Pixie in here moderating. Thank you, Pink Pixie, for being here tonight. We really appreciate you. You do a great job. You got a lot of good people in here tonight. I think I've just about got Dana Afflictions in here tonight. So we got a pretty full house already. So we got a few things to go over, guys, a few announcements and things. I'm going to go ahead and bring Jesse on so we can get into that. I'm going to start firing up the iPad so I can get the story up and everything. And we will get ready.
Hello, everyone. I was trying to make stuff in chat and write in chat and say hello, and my keyboard's all messing up. So sorry for everybody I missed. It looks like
Oh,
I'm freezing.
you're freezing?
Mm, looks like I'm freezing on my end. Yeah,
That's your fault.
I don't know. I guess so.
Ain't my fault.
Odd.
I tell you who's
But you can hear me? Am I glitch? No?
you're glitching a little bit. And
Okay.
I'm the
I'll have
one
to figure something out.
and I'm the one showing that I have good internet tonight. My bar thing on the
Well, that's a
yeah, my bar thing's actually saying 100%.
good thing.
They said your
Well, you should. You're the host.
they said your color's off also.
Yeah, I put up my lights. I don't like them. Maybe I'll take them down.
I've been rearranging, so I have a little bit of a different background for right now that will be changing as I continue to do things. But
Let's
I
see.
have some ideas, and we're going to be doing those.
Is that any better? Am I glitching still? Maybe.
Not bad if you
No.
are. Not bad if you
Okay.
are. Dana, was you able to get a hold of Mr. Fisher? Is he going to be here tonight? Do you know? I'm getting notifications sometime. Yeah, that's another thing I'm going to go over with you guys. Cliff, thank God for Dogman as a savior of the working man. 3 days of darkness of it has your address, and you've been living off the government. You're going to be something else. Oh, look here. Wait, leave him alone, guys. Don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. We have what you call here somebody that has had a pretty boring life, that probably still has a boring life, that has nothing to do but wait to try to troll a page. If you are a military serviceman, thank you for your service. You know, always thank you for your service. I would never take that from anybody, even no matter how ignorant or stupid they may act now. I mean,
Mm,
just because you're in the service doesn't mean that you can't be ignorant, doesn't mean you can't be stupid. I mean, I have many officers that work for me that met those criteria. So,
something could have
but we
happened
do
to
want
him
to
in the
thank you
field
for
as well.
showing up. Yeah, I mean, people hit their heads. I know some tank guys that's done that. So, I
Yeah.
mean, we do thank you for being
Unfortunate.
here, and we thank you for the view, and we thank you for your comment. But with that, I am going to go ahead and give you your first warning. If you would like to stay, I'm going to allow you to stay. I'm not just going to boot you. You are welcome to stay as long as you can be respectful to me and to others and my co-hosts. And if you're not, then moderators, if you would, please graciously remove him. So good to see you, Cliff. Hope you have a good one, and I hope you enjoy the show. Um, yeah, what we're doing is we're going to be working on a series, guys, and the series we're going to be working on is going to be a series, and I'm going to say it like no other. This series is going to, well, it's going to go down a road that nobody else in this cryptic field has went to, and it's going to connect a lot of things and a lot of the dots that I have felt's been there for a while. I know there's a darkness to this community. I've talked a lot about that. I've had that conversation with a lot of my moderators that just whenever you run this community, there is a darkness that is here. Running the Wide Open Adventures channel, it's fun, it's light, it's family, it's enjoyable. This channel is enjoyable, it's interesting, but it has a darkness, right? There's always that darkness that looms over this. Well, ever since I put out the interview that I took from the gentleman about the vampires, I've had a lot of people open up to me about a lot of things, about things I didn't know. I'm going to ask you all a question, and I want to look and see what your answers are, and I just want to see what your opinion would be if you were to know this. Now, I'm not saying at this point in time that what I'm going to say is factual, but I'm going to put it out there to you as a theory and as a scenario to get your thoughts on what you might think. Would you watch a channel that is connected to a known darkness that self proclaims to be evil, would you buy that material, that content? Would you donate to it? And would you tithe to that if you knew the evil? And they were not hiding it, they were open about it and stood by it and were proud of it, to astral project and to do things that God says is no good. Would you stand with that and would you support that? That's my question. Hello,
Hmm.
chickadee. Look at there. I like chickens. I got the rooster on tonight, guys. I love me some roosters.
I would think that most of the people in our chat would say no to that, and yeah, there we go. I mean, they're not self-promoting that though. They're not open to it.
It is self promoted. Whenever you write a book and you admit to it, I mean, it's not like you're
Um,
seeking, you're not seeking God out to try to get rid of it. You're actually monetizing it and trying to make money from it.
I
I mean, not
guess.
only are you evil and proud of it, you're making money from it. So, I mean, that's even worse. I mean,
Yeah.
casting your pearls to swine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say you're going to get me started on it, and I'm going to go right at them.
All
I
right,
can't.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm done.
But yeah, I think that whenever you all see this series, you're going to be very, very, very interested in this series. The links that it has, the information that I've received, it will be nothing but truth backed by facts. I
Can't
love
say
that
anything,
chickens.
Grace.
Love those chickens. Yeah, you're going to have to join the Patreon, unfortunately, to see these videos that I'll be releasing because they will come under fire, no doubt, as soon as they're released. But on Patreon, they can't touch my videos. So there's going to be a series released, and pardon my French, but they can kiss my ass. I'm going to be putting it out, and the truth will be the truth. So that's going to go. I do have a lot of you all, and I do listen to you guys whenever you talk to me. And I've had a
There's
lot of you
Larry.
say, "Hey, Mr. Larry, right there." I'm gonna go into Larry right now, guys. If you have any roofing problems or anything, you need to get a hold of Larry Fisher. Right there's his number and his information to where you can reach him. Uh, he will help you with your insurance needs and everything that you need to do. He has the best teams around. He pays the extra money to have the better teams where you get the best service for the money. And Larry will work with you. And not only that, Larry's a good man with a big heart. And yeah, I just don't think you can go wrong. So if you have any needs, he does Oklahoma, the surrounding states, Texas. I think he just about does everywhere. But there's his information where you can contact him. He is in the chat right now if you have any questions for him. So thank you very much, Larry, for being here, and thank you for the service that you provide to everybody, and you're caring hard at helping people, Larry. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
We're proud to know you.
Yep.
A lot of you have asked me, Mike, how come you don't do your investigations like you used to? And a lot of you said that's what separated my channel from the other channels. From my end, I was an investigator for over 12 years, and I had stacks of cases on my desk from the day I arrived at work until I went home from work, sometimes 16, 18 hours, and I would sleep in the parking lot and shower at work and do it again. It's a lot of work to investigate a case, especially if you're put on a case that has a deadline. You're very welcome, Larry. And I love doing these cases, but right now, with the time that it takes to be able to pursue a case and for me to be able to give it to you, to present it to you the way it should be presented, it takes time and it takes effort and it takes research and it takes reaching out to contacts. And I don't want to do any disservice to anybody while investigating a case. With that being said, I've been asked the Tony Aaron's case. It's been brought up and refuted again. I reviewed that, and I still stand by my claim claims on that case based on the information that I received and the people that I reached out to. The Corey Godsey case, I wouldn't change a thing I said about that because I actually spoke to the police chief and the fire department at that time. There was a lot of lies that were circumvented in that, but I have been assured that what I said was correct. So I stand by those. Um, Another thing that I would like to say is because you all have asked me to do that again, Thursday you will be getting another investigation that I looked into. It's about a young man, and I believe there's a lot of things off, and I go into that. So do not miss the Thursday drop at 8 o'clock. It'll be a video drop, and I broke the case completely down like I used to. And if that's something you all enjoy, I will try to do more of those. But focused on bringing Hunter home right now. We got some great news, and we're working on some very good things. God is good. All glory to God for the channel and all that's happened. I give all glory to Him, and we got some good things going on. So I will try to take out the extra time to at least try to get y'all an investigation out a week or every 2 weeks. I will try to get those out to you guys. Um, I think with that being said, Jesse can attest to whenever I investigate a case, I'm up day and night until it's done. I
Huh?
take cases seriously. I always have. And that's why they always passed them down to me because they knew that I would put the time in because that's what I do. That's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And it hits me different.
Yep.
Mike, do you mind what your findings were for Amber Miller and Tony Aarons? There was a lot of things in that, Don, and not to just go over everything, but there was a lot of things in there that led me to believe that there was something other than the dogs at the scene that made the attack. Based on speaking to dog handlers that I've worked with in law enforcement and everything, those dogs did not meet the criteria as to what was in the report. Part of my job as a captain, whenever I worked, I was a captain. I was actually now not bragging or anything, maybe a little bit, but I was a gold star captain, which means my bars and shield were gold. I was not a silver. I was a FTO, a supervising investigating officer. What I done, I prepared cases for court and for juvenile court. I worked with DHS, juvenile CPS. I did that. I worked directly with them, and I done investigations with them. I made recommendations for discipline. I made recommendations for charges to be pursued, or whatever I felt that case needed. Um, I just feel whenever it comes to the investigations, I have a slight edge in most people at investigating things and looking at things from a true investigator's stance. I went through many schools. I have the diplomas, I have the research. I am in the state of Oklahoma considered a professional. Whenever you say what is a professional, what it means is whenever I go to court and I would testify, I would be considered a professional witness, meaning that I have met all of the standards of Act 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the CLEAT Certification Board training. I have met every bit of that. So I took it very seriously. Um, it was free training, and I thought, if they're going to pay me to go to school to get college hours, why not, right? I mean, it's free education.
Yeah.
And I
Can't take it
and
away
I
from you.
right, and I enjoyed my work. I enjoyed what I did. And I think when you enjoy something, you should excel at it and try to do the best at it that you can. You should be the best at any job you do. Doesn't matter what you do. You should try to be the best at it. And that's what I tried to do. I don't think there's any job any more important than any other job. And I think we can all be professionals at whatever we do. And thank God we have professionals in every field because we need them.
Mm-hmm.
That's right,
Yep.
Segador. You tell them. You get them. You get them. But yeah, that's kind of what we're done.
Hi,
did, we-
Candy.
did,
Good to
did,
see you.
did we lose our friend that showed up tonight?
Which one?
The one that was so happy to see me a while ago? I haven't seen him roll up, so I'm guessing he left.
Larry?
No, the
Oh.
army gentleman.
Oh, him. No, I actually I think they might have uh, blocked
Did
him
he have?
right before. Well, right before you actually pulled him up on screen. I think I saw. I don't know. You know that AI
Uh,
mod? She's she's got
she's
that
quick.
trigger
She's
finger.
quick. I don't blame
Yeah,
her though.
yeah.
He probably needed to be gone anyways. I was just in a nice mood. What do we got to talk about before we jump into the story tonight? This story tonight, guys, I promise you, is going to be one like you have never heard. And whenever I took this encounter, like I said, I do not have any answers definitively for this lady. It's one of the ones I'm not even sure. I look forward to what you guys say because I'm not going to give her anything because I'm not sure. But we do need to ask for the continued prayers tonight for prayers for Connor's girlfriend's grandmother. We need prayers for Connie. We need prayers for Stevie B. Um, is there anyone else that we needed prayers for that I can think of? There's a gentleman that I watch on YouTube. His name is Robert Harrington. He has a really big YouTube channel. He's an outdoors channel. I really like him. He has some young little girls. He's a daddy, a proud dad, and he's had 2 strokes. So I would like to ask you all to please keep him in your prayers also.
Mhm.
Larry Fisher says he is here all the way. Let's see. I want to catch him if I can catch him. I'm here all the way to East Texas, 3 hours out and 3 hours back. There you go, guys.
Ooh, drive safe,
He
Larry.
Larry's got. I'd hate to think how many miles he's got on them tires. That guy gets
Yeah.
around. He's that song. I get around, man.
Isn't that I've been everywhere? I've been everywhere, man. I've been
Yeah,
everywhere.
that's Larry.
Mm,
Let's see. Like I said, don't forget the Thursday night video drop. No, Thursday night is actually alive, isn't it? Sorry,
yeah.
Thursday's alive. Thursday we are going to be going over an encounter that was sent in to me by somebody that self-proclaims to be a vampire. So that should be a pretty interesting show. Don't want to miss that one. Tuesday coming up, guys. This Tuesday, guess what? Boots on the ground if we can get around the water. But so far, I haven't canceled it. Um,
Hopefully. Are you guys supposed to be getting more rain too?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So that is, um,
Hmm.
you know, as weather allows. So it's not
No
for
time
sure.
for that water to recede.
No.
Man,
Is Michelle McGuire in the chat? Has anybody seen her tonight?
she sure is.
Michelle McGuire, there's a nasty rumor going around that I have cloned your account and I'm attacking people. So just wanted you to know that you are now a victim of my thousands of accounts. Just so you know, I have cloned your account, Michelle, because you would not go around and defend me the way you do. It has to be me. Uh,
She's okay, LOL.
yeah. Another thing that I would like to ask tonight: is anybody in the chat interested in becoming a possible temporary co-host at this point to the show? Randy's going to be out for a while due to the weather that hit him. He does need continual prayers. That is somebody that needs prayers. I'm looking for a 4 panel shows what I'm trying to get up. So I need one person. So is anybody interested in becoming a part-time co-host and possibly onto a full-time co-host? If you are, simply say yes in the chat or say I'm interested, and the moderators will hopefully see it. And you can also email me at the link below that is scrolling at the bottom of the page right now, the email. So you can reach me there too if you would like to become a co-host. So anybody that's interested, reach out to me, and we'll see what we can
You
do.
got,
What?
yeah,
What?
you do have a
What?
response.
Who? Who you got?
Segador.
Segador?
Hmm.
Segador, send me an email, please, and I will get back with you. Chickadee says she is too shy. No, Chickadee. Oh,
I love
no.
Michelle. Michelle says, when I find out who's being a turd, I don't play nice.
Mike was the only one that listened to me about the Girl Scout murders. Mike did a great job. Thank you, Dana. That was a definite, long, in depth interviewing, investigational uh, journey. No, Belinda
Melinda,
can't have that.
it would make for an
But you
entertaining
can come
evening,
on
though,
our new
eh?
drinking our new drinking show we're going to be having on.
Oh, we're doing one of those? I'm out. I
Yeah,
can't hold my liquor.
Dana, yes, he did an
I'm,
awesome job on that. Thank you, Sharon Guy. See, whenever people brag, they know how to get their name up there. I'm telling you, all you got to do is brag about me. But, I try to be an influence, a good influence to everyone. I try to set the example for people to follow. That way, they see Mike doing it. They say, "Oh, I want to be like Mike," and then they go and repeat it. Then I know that I'm actually, giving back to society. That I'm giving people a cause to get a little exercise because they need it, right? So some people, it's good for them. So I'm doing a good thing for the community. It could turn out being a good thing. Thank you, Segador. I appreciate that. Look at this. He knows how to do it. But yeah. AI mod, I do not have health insurance, so I maybe we could take some donations tonight to get her some help. She wants to be like Jess. We definitely need some intervention.
you got to be nice to her. You better watch out. She's going to get you in the next live.
She'll try. Guys, that's pretty much where we're at right now before we start this encounter. This encounter, I can't wait to get your all's uh, chickadee. If you're not too shy, you can also send me an email, and we may end up with more than one extra co-host, and we may do a rotating co-host. I don't know. May if we get enough people sends in some emails, then we may just rotate every now and then. I don't
That'd be
know,
kind of fun.
OCST. I don't know. Yeah, I asked OCST tonight to come on the show, and he turned me down. Guys, can you believe that? He actually turned me down. Hurt my feelers. Not really.
I heard he's kind of tired.
Oh no.
Mhm.
Okay, guys. We have an encounter tonight that was sent in to me. This encounter, I know y'all's been waiting on this. It is a different encounter. Oh wait, I got two more announcements to make before we start.
Oh,
Sorry.
just
Um,
kidding.
I have confirmed another show with Travis Carpenter coming on this month, the 13th. Travis Carpenter will be coming on. And I do have now the special guest I told you all that I was working on has now affirmed that he is going to be coming on the show. It will be the 22nd, so be watching for that thumbnail, guys. We have a gentleman coming on that has a big name in this community also. So it's going to be an interesting show.
Definitely will be interesting. Yep.
Looky there, who's here? Miss Fancy Face. She hasn't been here in a long time. Good to see you. It's been a long time. Seeing a lot of the old people here. It's good to see you guys. Welcome,
Mhm.
welcome. It's good to see you guys. Oh, Tyler says it's his birthday, so happy
Oh,
birthday, Tyler 420.
I think he was referring to a different day. Oh, which day? One of the days that you've got the show on?
Well,
The
happy
22nd?
birthday on your birthday,
Happy
and
birthday on
remind me
your
again,
birthday.
and remind me
And
on that day to tell you happy birthday, and I'll tell you happy birthday again.
as for today, happy unbirthday.
Happy younger than what you will be.
The 22nd. Yep.
Yeah, Starfire. Did you say you're wanting to be a co-host? Is that what you mean by me too? Just send me an email and we'll get you hooked up.
All right, on with the story. Let's go.
Oh, it's the Wolf Lady. You know I got to say hi to her. If I don't, I will be in trouble. Ladies
She's
and
been here a while.
gentlemen,
Where have you been?
the one and only Wolf Lady of Oklahoma, the true cryptid
Mm,
huntress, right here with us tonight. It's good to see you, Wolf Lady. Glad you could make it. Okay, guys. So the encounter that I took is a pretty different encounter. It's a pretty wild encounter, actually. I'm not looking away from the screen on purpose. I'm looking actually. I got like
Oh,
three screens in front of me.
it's Starfire's birthday today. Or is that the
Dana, I would agree
22nd?
with you. Oh well, happy
I don't
birthday,
know.
Starfire. It's the 22nd, and we'll tell you again the 22nd.
Okay, I'm done reading chat. Let's go.
Okay, so I talked to this individual, and it was a really interesting encounter that I took, and we're going to jump into it right now. The people that I talked to that this encounter involved, their names were Mark and Alexandria. She goes by Alex as short. The name of this one is called Save My Baby. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which I could throw this up. We could do this during the show while we talked about it.
Mm. She's kind of creepy looking.
Well, that's not actually her, but that's a
Well,
representation of the film. It's
I
okay.
figured that wasn't her. Man.
You can color while we do this. It's fine.
I ran out of crayons.
Uh,
Can I have some
okay,
clay
so they said
instead?
this story happened. Whatever you want to play with, crayons. You get you some clay. We can get you some of those little like square and triangle blocks.
Yeah.
We can see if you could finish that by the end of the show.
Okay.
So the story happened. He says when my wife Alexandria and I decided to get married. We are in our early 30s, and we both had got married, and we had decided it was time to get married because we did not want to be away from each other. We had dated for 5 years, and they decided to go ahead and tie the knot. So uh, they went and found this home, and they said they found a home that they really liked. They said they loved their home. We loved each other. Life was great. We was together every night. We didn't have, this is Alex talking. She said, we didn't have to be away from one another anymore. We was able to see each other every day, support each other, to be there for each other, and not just what time are you free to see me or are you awake? She said it was nice finally being able to be together and to start our family. Mark said Alexandria, we'll call her Alex, she loved being home. She really loved it, and I loved working to support her. He had a good enough job that he was able to work and she didn't have to work. So she was able to stay home and to be a housewife. He said she loved it. She loved being home, and I loved taking care of her. And if you're able to do that, I believe it makes a stronger marriage. He said, just my opinion. Our home was built in the 1890s. It was nothing special. It was an older home, and it had the old windows, the old floors, and everything. And we were proud of it, though. It was something that kept the rain off our heads and gave us a place to call home. We could paint a bedroom or put money into the house and know it is still our home. We're not doing it for a rent house or for somebody else. It's actually our home. We're going to be the ones to benefit from the work that we put into our home. And he said that was really important to him. Alex said she had been cleaning the house while Mark was at work. She said, we got this new house. And she said, I just wanted to go in and just make it just beautiful, just make it ours and get our things in there. And, she was trying to make it, their home. And she
Mhm.
said, while I was cleaning the very top cabinet, probably one that most people wouldn't use. I would guess it would be more of a storage cabinet. So she said, I'm cleaning, and as I'm cleaning and wiping out the top of it, all of a sudden something falls out, hits me in the face, hits the floor, bounces across the floor, and I'm like, what in the world was that? She said, I first thought it was probably a piece of the handle that had fell out. So she gets down on the floor and tries to find what she thinks is a screw, and whenever she finds it, she finds a beautiful ring. She said this ring is so pretty. It's gold and it had a ruby in it. And she said it was a very beautiful red ruby ring. She said, I figured it was probably costume jewelry, that nobody in their right mind would leave a ring this beautiful behind and not be looking for it. She said it was very beautiful. And she said it fit my little finger perfectly. And I liked the way it looked. It was a very nice looking ring. She says, while I was cleaning, I thought I seen a shadow go into our bedroom one day. Mark was at work, and it kind of threw me off guard, she said. It was enough that it actually made me climb down off the little step stool I was using, cleaning out the cabinets and putting down the laminate paper to go look. So she says, I walk over and I look into the bedroom, and of course, there's nothing in there. So the first thing she said I thought was I had all the windows open because it was a nice day, and I thought maybe somebody had went by or a bird had flew by or something, causing a shadow to go across the room. So she said I thought, okay, it's nothing bad. But she was still a little bit freaked out by what had just happened.
Okay.
So Mark says whenever I ride home from work, I noticed that the house was like spotless, he said she had spent so much time cleaning the house, wiping down everything. She was like doing the walls. I mean, he said she had this house looking immaculate. She was overdoing it, kind of like I do on the show. And he said she was really into it and she was getting everything done. And he was a little worried about her. He thought she might be overdoing it a little bit. And he said it's not that I wanted her to stop or I didn't want her to enjoy it, but I was just worried about her, exhausting herself. He said because she had made the home feel so inviting and so peaceful, but also she was doing so much work. I was worried about her.
Mhm.
So, anybody have anything they want to say so far?
Mhm.
Nothing you'd like to add? Pink
No.
Pixie says, "Here it comes," and trust your gut.
Yeah.
AI says, "You're overdoing it. I'm beautiful." Shake my head, definitely. Just kidding. Chester says she's done so much cleaning that she's disturbed the spirits. Tim Wrestler, I couldn't agree more. I'm gonna leave that up for just a little bit.
Mhm.
Uh, so he said, I'm worried about, her well-being. So Alex says that night they got ready to go to bed, she said. And of course, Mark always took a shower at night, she said, before he would jump into bed. She said she would always get her shower a little earlier than when he got home. He he's a carpenter. He builds houses and construction. So she said he has a really hard, hot job. So my dad was a carpenter. They do work hard. So she said that whenever he would come home, she would have his meal ready. They would spend a little time together, then take a shower and go to bed. She said while he was showering one night, I was reading a love story. She says, I'm a huge reader. She said, I love to read. And he said, or she said, I had got to this part and I was like, oh, I hope it takes just a little bit longer for him, because I'm at a really good part of this book and I don't want to lay it down right now.
Mm.
So she's reading the book as fast as she can. She says she's trying to look for an ending spot that she can end the book. She wants to end the page at least, she said. So she said, I was trying to beat Mark before he turned off the light to crash in bed because I don't want to keep him up because I know he leaves at the crack of dawn. So she said, we had fell asleep, and all of a sudden, I was woken up by Mark screaming and throwing his pillow across the room. She said, I
Wow.
mean, he screamed. He sat straight up in the bed, threw his pillow across the room. And she said, I started yelling at him and I turned on the lamp beside the bed. I was saying, Mark, 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 what's wrong? She said, I grabbed him and I held him. He had never done that before. She said, and I told him it was okay. And she said, Mark was just totally soaked in sweat.
Mm.
Mark said on the conversation, I had a dream that my dad was attacking me and beating me with a wrench. He was a mechanic, but he had passed away a year earlier. He had a car fall on him, and his death was sudden and unexpected. So he was having a hard time with the loss of his dad. It's such a tragic loss, and they weren't expecting it. So, anything that you would like to add so far?
I'm gonna guess that. I mean, yeah, that was not. Are they gonna? Yeah, no. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything yet. I need more. Need more information. Need more to the story.
So, Alex says the next day I was cleaning again, and I heard a man's voice come from the bedroom. It whispered my name. I stopped washing the dishes and I listened for another noise again, for another voice, or for even walking, but there was nothing. So I decided to ignore the voice and continue to clean. I was a little scared and it felt scary in the house. I didn't like the feeling, but I figured it was just me being scared and it was almost time for Mark to be home, anyways. Mark arrived home and she said I had his dinner made for him and he was, bragging about how good it was. But Mark says I could tell something was off. I could tell that Alex was afraid, that she was scared. She acted like she was afraid. I asked her what was wrong, and she said, I'm just very tired and I think I've overdone it today. I told her to rest and not worry about making the house spotless. It was a home and it was meant to be lived in. He said, by all means, I'm not trying to live in a museum. I believe a house should look that it's lived in. Alex says we then went to bed and Mark was off to the shower as normal and I was reading as normal and then the shower turns off. So I was again trying to finish a page again as to beat him before he got out of the shower. I was at another good part of my book. I'd almost had it finished and I was at the end. And anybody that's a book reader, she says, would understand when you get to that final parts, you don't want to lay the book down.
Mm-hmm.
Alex said, I then noticed that I had read a chapter and that Mark was still not in bed yet or out of the bathroom. I thought that was a little weird because it usually does not take that long. While I was rushing to try to find the ending part of my book, I noticed that she had read a whole chapter after the shower had stopped.
Wow. Big pixie. Yeah, definitely doesn't sound good. That's kind of what I was thinking too. Something is. She disturbed something with that ring. Or the. Yeah. Okay, so what happened? I kind of need to know what happened. Did he. The shower had stopped and he still hadn't gotten to bed?
Yep, he was still in the bathroom. She was actually trying to hurry up and finish one page, and she noticed by hurrying to finish, she got, engulfed into the book. She ended up reading a chapter after the shower had stopped.
Yeah. Well, it is easy to do that once you get into a book, but hmm, okay.
Alex, she said, I was thirsty that night after we had went to bed when he finally got out of the bathroom. So I got up to go get me some water from the icebox. She says she keeps a pitcher of water in there. She likes her water really cold. She said I went and got some water, and then as I returned to the bedroom, I noticed he was still in the bathroom. Okay, she had thought he came out. He hadn't came out yet. She went and got some water, still waiting on him to exit the bathroom.
Oh, I was gonna say, so she hadn't even checked on him by that point. So, okay,
Now, she said the bathroom is right off of their bedroom. The door to the bathroom is actually inside of their bedroom.
okay.
So she said, he was still in there and hadn't left.
Hmm.
CRJ says, what took him so long?
Yeah, I would have. I don't know if it's not something normal. Why wouldn't you go check on him? But okay,
Well, Alex says, I walked over to the door and I knocked on the door quietly.
okay.
Nothing, to scare him or to cause him to jump. But as I knocked on the door, I did scare him, I guess a little, because I yelled Mark. And whenever I yelled, I heard things fall and something slapped. And it sounded like a closet door slid shut. Then Mark yelled, Sorry, I'm just shaving. She said, I thought that was a little strange, considering we didn't have any doors in the bathroom I was aware of that slid. And
Hmm.
she said, It was kind of strange to me. So she said, I went back to bed and I waited, and then he came out and he crawled into bed and he held me. And he said, Sorry it took me so long. I was just shaving. And sometimes whenever I shave, my mind wanders and I get to thinking about the day ahead, the blueprints of the jobs that we have to do. And did we do everything right today? And did I get this trust done? Like, I guess going over the day's work, wondering if he had done everything that needed to be done. He said he just got lost in thought. So Alex says the next morning, Mark was leaving for work and he grabbed me up passionately, she said. And he said, I am going to miss you so much. And then she said he started kissing me on the neck and just being all goofy like. And I told him, Mark, go to work. And she said he, like a little schoolboy, was in a great mood, ran, grabbed his lunchbox like he always did. And she said he was out the door.
Okay.
So she says, I decided to take Mark up on the rest. She said, I decided I was not going to clean house today. Mark told me to rest, so I'm going to rest. So she said, I went back to bed and I crawled up under the covers and then I noticed something. I noticed that, what do you think she noticed?
I don't know. It could be almost anything. My mind is racing. I mean, I don't know. Chester says
Brittany
the
says
ring is
blood.
missing. The ring. Belinda, he didn't really shave. Okay, so what is it? Is it the ring?
So she says she decides to take Mark up on what he said. And she goes into the bedroom and she crawls into bed under the covers. And then I noticed that my neck was burning. I smiled and thought of Mark. I was like, You whisker burned me. But then I was like, Wait, you whisker burned me? He was supposed to have shaved last night.
Ooh, Belinda got it.
Good
Belinda,
job,
you get the gold
Belinda.
star tonight.
Belinda, you looking to be a co host? So she says, I laid in bed and I wondered, did he lie to me? He's never lied to me. Maybe he was just embarrassed that maybe he was taking a number two and was having issues, and he was embarrassed that I was checking on him and he made up a lie to cover for it. Because after all, we had just moved in together and he might be a little shy over something like that. He might have been
Tim.
having issues, she said. And then And then, uh, she said the worst thoughts started coming over her. She said, I started wondering, is he cheating on me?
Mm.
Is something wrong? So she said, I got up out of the bed and I started to clean and watch some TV. I was a little upset and a little bit depressed. The love of my life cheating on me? Surely not. Hopefully, he was just constipated, she said. She said, I started to get tired and then decided to lay down on the bed and to try to rest again. I must have been tired because I felt Mark when he got home crawl into bed behind me. I hadn't even cooked, she said. I forgot to cook. I had fell asleep. I was just exhausted. And she said, I thought, oh my God, what a bad wife I am. I didn't even make him nothing to eat and he's worked all day. But she said, when I went to roll over to tell him, he just pulled me in closer, kind of like what people, she said, would call spooning. And he laid his head on my cheek and I felt him. She said, I made sure to try to feel his neck though. Even though I couldn't look at him, I made sure to feel his neck with my neck to
Mm-hmm.
make sure to see if he lied to me. And she said, believe it or not, he was softly shaven.
Hmm. So something must have. I bet she's got scratches on her neck from something else. Look at me, Christy.
Well, I think the reason she made it for him is because she stayed at home all day and he worked out in the sun building houses, and
Right,
so I think she felt
right.
like that she owed him that.
You know,
Segedor
it's kind of
says
like
the plot
it,
thickens.
it's kind of like working all day at a job and coming home to find that your kids have been sitting in the basement playing video games all day and not doing a dang thing. Couldn't even thaw up the chicken that you asked them to do, or so
Not
same
video games.
difference.
Video games are good for our children nowadays. Remember? So what Trump said:
Ah,
video games are reprogramming our children's minds so that they live in an alternate reality.
everything in moderation.
Yeah. So she says, I told him I will make you something, and he said, no worries. I have a really bad headache today. It was really hot out at work today. I don't feel good. I just want to lay here and hold you. She said, it was a very hot day that day. It was 110 degrees. And she said, I'm tired also, so I never rolled over. I just laid there, she said. He said, let's take a nap and we'll eat later. How about that? She said he was always so nice to her, and he never like was mean to her. He was always understanding, and he didn't expect her to cook for him. If she didn't, she said he would have been fine with it. She said he would have been the type to come home and he could have lived off of bologna sandwiches. He really didn't care.
All the guys are
And
saying
Riley
that he's possessed.
and Riley says, why do women always think men are cheating? Very good comment, Riley. You get an A+ for that.
It's like the worst thing that a person's mind can go to in a relationship.
It starts affecting trust, and whenever you start affecting
Mm-hmm.
trust, then everything starts to fail.
Yep.
It's kind of like that viscosity in oil. Whenever it fails, the engine locks up.
Mm-hmm. Which reminds
But
me, I
I
gotta get an
also,
oil change.
but I also know how that goes too. When you work all day long, and yeah. Anyways, I woke up and I rolled over to see Mark, and she says he was gone. So I went to the kitchen to find him, and he was not in there. So I yelled for him, and I was like, "Mark, where are you at? Are you back in the bathroom?" But she said he wasn't. So I thought, he went out to get something to eat. He's going to surprise us. Mark has got up and he's went to go get something to eat because she said that was his number one thing was to go to Pizza Hut whenever there wasn't nothing to eat. So she said I called him and I asked him if he could get some fresh fruit because she loves to eat fruit, she said. She said, so I called Mark, and whenever I called, I asked him, I said, on your way home from work, could you stop and get some fresh fruit? And Mark was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Sure. What do you want? She said, I told him, I want some grapes and I want some oranges. And he was like, sure, I'll pick it up. Just like normal, she said. Nothing was out of the ordinary with that. That was something normal. So when Mark arrived home, she said from the store, all he had was grapes and oranges. And I said, "You didn't get dinner, or are we just going to eat fruit tonight?" And she said, he looked at me and he said, no. Did I need to?
So he had never been home.
And she said, I woke up and you was gone from our nap a bit ago, and I thought you went to get food. And he started laughing at me and said, honey, you've been dreaming. And I said, no way. He then showed me the time, and the time that was on the clock showed that it was just time for him to be coming home from work. And I was like, oh my God, WTF. He wasn't home early. It wasn't time for him to be home when she thought he was home.
Mm-hmm. Something else is in the house.
Sheriff says he had a date. And the women go to cheating. That's funny, though. Pink Pixie says, yikes. Sabrina says, sheet. Yeah.
T-Bone told you she was spooning with a ghost.
Wait, I seen something. Dana says the ring.
That's a horrible movie. But yeah, no. I did not like that movie.
You're scared. You're scared. Jody says, don't give me that sheet. So Alex says, I made dinner and we ate, and then we watched a little bit of TV. Our favorite show came on. She said, we love to watch Blue Bloods. She said, Tom Selleck is a hunk. She's stuck on Tom Selleck. I still have some questions for Tom Selleck, but I'll ask him that someday, I hope, when I talk to him. Bedtime arrived, and she said we went to do our thing. Mark was in the shower, and I was reading again, and the shower goes off, and no Mark. So I figured maybe he's just pooping. So I did not bother him until. What do you think happened? What do you think caused her to bother him now?
Did she hear something else sliding shut in their closet again? I don't know. Shower goes back on again? I don't know. I mean, this is just suspenseful. I don't know.
She said, I heard him whispering in the bathroom, and then I heard him laughing. That
Okay, that's
really,
weird.
she said, that really bothered me. So I snuck to the door to try to put my ear to the door to listen. She said, so I'm going to be this little spy now. I'm spying on my husband in the bathroom.
Virginia.
She said, so I sneak over to the door and I put my ear against the door and I try to be really, really quiet. And then my knee smacks the night table and knocked everything off. There's a huge commotion. I tried to catch it. Stuff goes across the floor. My water spills. The glass smashes on the ground. I hear the sliding door in the bathroom. I hear everything slamming around, and then the bathroom door opens real fast, and he asked me, what in the hell are you doing? Are you okay? And she said, I told him I got up to get my water, and it accidentally tripped over this night table. She said, I have a headache, and I was needing to get some Tylenol off of the nightstand. She said he picked my glass up calmly off the floor, walked to the kitchen, filled it with water, and brought me 2 Tylenol, cleaned up the mess, and placed everything back on the table and said, you really need to be resting.
Hmm. Sorry, that
So,
sounds like something I would do.
no,
Try to be sneaky and totally like
oh, she said
Mr. Bean
she
it.
totally blew it. Yeah, she said she totally blew it.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex said Mark had left for work the next day, and I was back in the kitchen, and that is when something happened that really bothered me. A dish fell onto the ground, and it shattered, And then the back door opened at the same time in the opposite room, and I was so scared, and I heard little click clocks running across the floor like a little toy and saw a small shadow run into the bedroom. It actually
Mm-mm.
scared me enough that I jumped up on the ladder thinking it was a damn rat because it looked like it was like a rat or something. It wasn't real big, or maybe a squirrel, but it had like wearing tap shoes, she said. It was like it was wearing tap shoes. And it ran across the floor, she said, straight to the bedroom.
Now I've got the image of a squirrel in tap shoes. Okay.
She said it really, really scared her.
Yeah, that would scare me too. Squirrel in tap shoes.
Pink Pink Pixie says car keys now.
Yeah, right? Rats in tap shoes, yeah.
Belinda, I have a fan on above me that's moving it. I'm a hot natured person. I've always got a fan on. So
A wee little leprechaun.
she says I was freaked out, so I went to get my cell phone. And whenever I went to get my cell phone, it was gone.
Uh-oh.
I couldn't
Now that
find it
would be
anywhere, she
scary.
said. No, she said she couldn't find it anywhere. And she said I knew exactly where I left it because I always made sure to know where it was at in case I needed help. She said I looked all day for the damn thing. Then, when I went to get some milk, I found it in the icebox. And I know I did not leave my phone in the icebox, but it was laying there right beside the milk on the top shelf.
Okay, I don't know if is she because the whole title is "It Wants It's Her Baby." Is she pregnant this time? Does she know she's pregnant this time?
Uh-uh.
Okay,
Nope.
I was assuming that she would be pregnant this time because putting your cell phone in the icebox, yeah, that would be me when I was pregnant. I would totally do something like that. But if she's not pregnant, then
Vinny
okay.
needs to go. I got it. Quit telling me to read a story. I am telling a story. Ban you if you tell me to tell a story, guys. That'll get you banned faster than anything. But anyways, um, stupid.
Now we want to know. Okay, go on.
Yeah, Vinny sounds like you're scared, Jody. I think Vinny's probably already been out back. Um, so Alex, Mark arrived home, and he was like, "Real funny this morning, Alex. That was real funny." And she said, "I was like, what? I didn't do anything." And she said he was laughing, saying, "Oh, you know what you done. You know what you done." And she said, I was like, "No, I really don't know what I done." And he was like, "Yes, you do. Come on, you know what you done." And she was like, "I don't know what I done." He said, "I got up this morning and I couldn't find my phone anywhere. And I went in there and it was right beside the milk. So you think you're funny, huh? Hiding my cell phone. I was almost late for work. So paybacks, he said, are a B. I'm going to get you back for that." And she said, I could not convince him that I did not hide his phone.
That's weird. Both of them were in next to the milk. Really?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I can't blame that on him being pregnant. So
So she says the rest of the evening was uneventful until that night. Alex, she says, Mark had actually got out of the shower on time. And he came to bed and we fell right asleep. We were so tired. But she says, I had the terrible nightmare that night. I dreamed that a small, light baby doll had jumped up and bit my toe and called me a bitch. I woke up screaming at Mark, kicking my feet, trying to hit something at the end of the bed with my pillow. And he looked at me and he said, What in the hell are you doing? She said, This time I was the scared one. And I told him what had happened. And he said, It was just a dream, Alex. There's nothing biting your toes. She said he was laughing at me while holding me at the same time.
they don't have a
So she
cat,
said
do
the
they?
next day, Mark left. No,
Okay.
no. So she says the next day, though, Mark did leave for work. And whenever Mark left for work, she got up to make some breakfast and get her a drink and kind of start the day. And she noticed that her toes were sore.
So they didn't check her toes then? She didn't check them at that time?
No, no, it was in the middle of the night. She just figured it was a
So?
dream.
Okay.
So she said my toes were sore, and whenever I looked down at them, they were actually bruised, and the skin was kind of like rolled toward my toenails, like something had bit me, and I jerked my foot away.
Hmm.
She said it really bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided it was time for me to go to the bathroom, she said, and start investigating. She said I went into the bathroom, and I thought maybe he's got a phone hidden in there, and whenever he goes to the bathroom, he talks to another woman at night. Maybe he's got a phone hidden, and that's just his way of telling another woman good night at night or something like that. So she says I was in there and I couldn't find anything until I seen the old medicine cabinet on the wall. And yes, I didn't know it was an old medicine cabinet at first. I thought it was just a mirror until I noticed that the mirror was what looked like falling off the wall. As I went to readjust it and to hang it so it didn't fall, I noticed that it wasn't falling off the wall. It was actually a door to a medicine cabinet, a huge medicine cabinet that was built inside of the wall, and the door was the mirror.
So this was a huge, or like, I think medicine cabinet, I think those ones that just fit over the sink. So this is like a doorway.
She said it was just she's no, 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 not like you could walk in. She said it was just like a big
Oh,
medicine cabinet.
okay.
So she
But it
says I
opens, it
reached
doesn't
into
like
the cabinet.
slide.
She didn't say. She just said it opens. So maybe it did slide.
Okay. Because both times she said that she heard like a sliding door.
Well, she said she opened the door and she said I reached into the cabinet into the darkness because it was pretty deep. It was a deep cabinet. She said it went far into the wall. And whenever she said I reached in there, I felt something really soft, like almost like a pillow, a small pillow. So she said I grabbed it, and whenever I pulled it out, she said I thought, oh my God. I actually pulled. What do you think she pulled out of there?
Stuffed animal. An old stuffed animal. I don't know. A doll. Yeah. I don't know. A wig.
See
That's a
what Jay
good
says
one.
to
Oh, a
Tim says a
squirrel.
rat.
Yeah, a rat or a squirrel with the tapping dance shoes. I don't know. Oh, you scared Jody. We're not
So she
putting that
says that
one
whenever
on.
reached in. So whenever she reached in, she said she reached in and she pulled out what was an old time puppet.
Oh, like one of those
It was a little
ventriloquist
man
puppet
dressed,
things?
the one with the little strings on it.
Oh, okay, okay.
But she said it was missing the strings. It didn't have any strings on it. But he was dressed in a nice little suit, and he had like a ceramic head with this evil looking smile and these little bitty black dress shoes that clicked on the sink when I held him. Almost like what I heard run across the floor that day.
Oh, and now we have the connection.
She said it was so scary to pull that out of there and the way that thing looked. But also, I noticed there was something else tucked back in the corner. It was a large book. So I started reaching as far as I could into this to try to reach this book. And she says, I get a hold of the book and I finally get it slid out of the medicine cabinet. And once I slide it out of the medicine cabinet, I noticed something. It's not a book.
It's a
What
box.
do you think it is?
It's a
No,
box. It's a.
no.
I don't know.
She lays it on the sink and opens it up, and it is a very old, antique Ouija board.
Oh, so it was a
And
box.
then what
It
I
was in a
found
box.
next, well, well,
Box.
she said it was just folded, kind of like a Monopoly game would be,
Oh,
sitting inside of there.
they made
And then
really
she said
old
what I found
ones.
next was even scarier. That's what she said.
Mm-mm.
And then she said what I found next was even scarier. I found my old brush that had come up missing in there. She said I confronted Mark about it whenever he came home from work, and he told me that he had found it. And at night, whenever he would go to the bathroom, he would play with the board, and the doll would talk to him, and he would play with the doll. It kind of cracked him up. He thought it was funny. I told Mark I could not do this anymore, that this was too much, that I could not ever be okay with a Ouija board and a possessed doll in the house. And I asked him, I said, why did you take my brush anyways? Why in the hell would you take my brush? And he said, well, I needed a piece of your hair to be able to give to the Ouija board to be able to ask it questions about you. I was trying to find out everything about you that I could. And Mark said
What?
that this stuff was going nowhere because she said, I told him either this stuff has to go or I go. And Mark said, well, this stuff isn't going anywhere and you need to get over it. It's just a game. It's just a doll. And look at it. It's antiques. You don't even know how much this stuff is worth.
Okay, there's something not right with him. Mm. Uh-uh. I agree, Ellen. No, 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 no. No. Oh my gosh. Mm-mm. 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 And the way he react okay. I the way he reacted too, like no big deal.
Well, he told her that it wasn't going nowhere.
Mm-mm. Something's got a hold of him.
So she says he tells her, let's go to bed and we'll talk about it tomorrow because tomorrow is Saturday. And he was tired because it was late at night.
Oh, then he can go sleep on the couch.
So she says,
Just
we
saying.
go to bed and we wake up the next morning and we have a discussion. She said, I told him that he knew I came from a religious background and that this was not going to happen. This was not going to be in our home and we was not going to participate in any of this dark shit. And he told her that the stuff was going in, it wasn't going to go anywhere, that she needed to get over it, that she was being petty, that it was just a board and it was just a doll, that she was overreacting. So she said, I asked him to please get rid of it. She said, I was begging him because she said, I do love him. You know, we dated for 5 years. She said he'd never acted like this before, and she's in love with him and she doesn't want to lose him. So she said, they get in a heated argument. He goes outside, starts mowing the yard. So she lays down on the couch and she's taking a nap. She's trying to figure things out. And then she has this terrible dream. She said it was more like it felt real. She said, I was laying on the couch and I dreamed that I was pregnant. And the only thing that was so weird is that little doll was on top of me screaming, it's my baby, give it to me. And it had a knife out of the kitchen, she said, trying to cut the baby out of my stomach. So she said she woke up, soaked in sweat. Terrible dream. So she says I told my husband to take me to my mom's house, said I would be staying with my mom until he made up his mind. Either he could have the doll on the board or he could have me. So Mark took her to her mom's house. Now, this is the part that she is struggling with, and she is actually broke down on the phone. She's struggling pretty hard with this. Mark was on the call also, but he was not with her as they have separated at this point when I talked to him. So this was a pretty hard interview to take. There was some emotion. I always get stuck in those, it seems like. And she is having problems with, she is now actually pregnant, but her and Mark had not done anything for her to get pregnant. And Mark isn't able to have kids because he's been previously fixed. And she said the only time they had done anything according to her pregnancy test that she could be pregnant would have happened the morning he came in and spooned her. She said that's the only time that we had done anything. Mark says it never happened and they never done anything that day because he wasn't there. So somehow she's became pregnant. He thinks that she cheated on him, and she says she didn't, that it was him that came home. So they're getting testing done to try to find out if it's his. He went to the doctor. The doctor said there's no way it's his. He's still sterile. There's no way. So she thinks that whatever was evil in that house has impregnated her, and she's now having issues with carrying the baby. And she's now talking to a psychologist and her doctor, and she's having a really hard time with this pregnancy because she is Christian and doesn't believe in getting an abortion, but it's really, really bothering her. She received a phone call the other day, and she said it was in a ventriloquist voice, and it kept saying, "Bring my baby back home." So she's having a really hard time with that.
Wow. I have no idea what to say. That is very disturbing. Yeah.
I didn't know what to tell her. I told her that she needed to seek her friends that she's close to. She needs to seek maybe her pastor, her counselor, her doctor, and see what they recommend. I That's why I said at the beginning of this, I do not have an answer for her. Let me turn this. I you know I mean I can't give her advice because I'm not sure what to even tell her.
Wow. Yeah, seek out a priest. Well, I mean, a lot of I don't know. Would a priest would do a church I've never had luck with the churches that I've gone to. So that's why I'm always kind of torn when to say seek out a priest or go talk to the church, because you tell them something like that and most likely they're going to think, "Oh yeah, you need to go seek a psychologist. You need help with in the medical field, not in the
Well, a lot of our
spiritual."
churches, I don't know if that down here, our churches actually do have counselors that look at it from a Christian perspective that are certified counselors.
For something that
Of course,
is, I mean,
she has a lot of faith, Candy, a lot of faith.
well, and of course that would be what would be the most ideal, I hate to even put it out there, but what would be the most ideal person to for a demon to try and procreate with? Somebody that they know isn't going to terminate a pregnancy.
Right. So I said it's one of those that it's just Yeah,
Yeah.
Virginia Faith for sure. Virginia Starfire. Yeah, sure, and she is for sure.
Uh, yeah, I don't even know. I mean, and then the stuff that I am thinking that's going through my head is just it's so horrible to even think about. That's not a ghost, that's a
It
hairball.
was
Sorry. I don't know if anybody saw that on my screen.
they're
It's Fuzz. My
they're
cat's
they're
shedding.
having issues mainly on their marriage. Or Mark is he feels like that she was unfaithful.
But he does he still find it not a huge deal of what he was doing with that board and that doll and the
He
hair?
thinks it's fine. He looks at it as novelty, as just novelty pieces.
And is he still messing with that stuff?
Good night, Beverly. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, he
Night,
thinks it's just
Beverly.
a novelty.
Mm.
Yeah, CRJ, she mashed it up and it matched up perfectly to the date that he spooned her. She said it was an exact match. I mean,
Yeah,
there's so
I
many
don't
different
know.
scenarios that it could be. I mean,
I mean, it's not uncommon for
I
these demonic entities to take on that doppelganger form in the first place. And was he
that and
asking
we
the
don't.
board questions, or was the board actually asking him questions? Was the demon asking, working, the other way around? There's just so many things.
And plus, we don't even know that it was a doppelganger because she never turned around and looked at him. She just assumed it was him,
Yeah,
and she made
true.
that very clear. She said, "I never looked at him. Sounded like him."
And
Yeah,
Dana says if
I
it was
mean,
just a board, he wouldn't mind getting rid of it.
right, Dana. Yeah, there's an attachment, and that's what I told him that there is an attachment. Sabrina, he was checked, and he was by the doctor. They both told me that that was confirmed, that he is sterile.
See, and okay, so here's the question with this with Walters. I know that there's a way that they can check the genetics and the DNA of a child before the child is actually born. However, it's very dangerous for the fetus to do that, and it could actually cause harm to not only the fetus but the mother as well. And they try and make it sound like, oh, it's okay and you can still check it, but then at that point, within that decision, what do you do as a Christian, as a mother, as a carrying a child? And I don't even know how long far along she is, but you know, are you supposed to then make that decision before? You can't make the decision after. I mean, it's there, it's done, it's growing, it's with her. So what do you do? Whether you check the genetics, and if the
Sharon,
genetics match him, go ahead.
right? And, oh, I was just telling Sharon it's a normal pregnancy. That's the doctor said everything's normal.
Yeah. So if the genetics match her husband, and her husband swears no, it wasn't him, then what do you do? And if they don't match, then he can turn around and say, see, told you, you cheated. Even though she has not cheated. So puts her in that, I mean, predicament with now, where's the support? Where's the trust? This is a conundrum.
Right. I mean, like what Sabrina says, if I take out the cryptid aspect of this and I go back and I look at this as dealing with normal human behavior as a normal human investigator. I had to put it on paper and I had to prepare this for court. It would be a speculatory report because I don't have access to the doctor reports and stuff like that. But based on my investigations that I've done in the past, I guess you would have to go on case law, things that have happened in the past. I would have to base it on that, which is actually you can use case law in court. It is admissible. My opinion on that, Sabrina, would be that the female definitely had relations with another gentleman. Um, I couldn't say that it was because she wanted to or somebody snuck in the home, but my report would reflect that she did have relations with another human because we're not allowed to speculate on the cryptic world on legal documentation because you cannot speculate on something that's not proven, in their eyes, in the eyes of the courts, the laws. And from a cryptid standpoint, looking at the things we know or we believe that we know, and there is no professionals, in my opinion, in the cryptic world. I believe there is people that have a better understanding of it. I'm not going to call them professionals, but I will say I believe there's people that have a better understanding of cryptids than other people and are probably better at giving advice. So I would say that is it possible that, oh my God, we're going to go down this road. Okay, guys, here we go. So is it possible that we know back when the angels fell and they had relations with the humans? It's not known yet, but it's believed that there is a possibility that they actually borrowed people's bodies to do that because they did not have physical bodies. But then there's also proof in the Bible that there was manifestation into bodies. So there is a debate over did they borrow bodies or did they manifest into a body? And if they did manifest into a body, would they have had the appropriate sex organs to be able to impregnate a woman? Which, the Bible doesn't really, the Bible says there's no sex in heaven. So there would be no need for them to be able to procreate. So then you have to ask yourself, is it possible and okay to theorize that with him playing with that, did he become possessed by another entity that took over his body that did impregnate her and he did come home early from work, but he wasn't in control of his body? It was something else actually controlling him. And then she would have became impregnated by something that had borrowed his body as a host. And there's no way you can put that on legal paperwork and sell that. You're probably going to be in a 72 evaluation as soon as you turn it in. But looking at it from a cryptid standpoint and from a the best you could do as a hypothetical theory would be that knowing what we know of the spiritual world, I would be interested to see the genetic makeup and the DNA of the child and the blood type before I would be before I would feel better about making a more in-depth uh, theory as to what the baby is and as to what had happened. I mean, if the baby's checked and the baby ends up being a normal baby with normal DNA sequences and all that, and there's nothing out of the ordinary, then I think it kind of goes the opposite direction.
See, now, and I'm thinking of this from a woman's perspective. If, and I'm not saying that she is, but if what she is saying is true from her perspective and her storyline, now she's not being believed in the first place, and she now is to carry this child that in her mind is not of, I mean, yeah, like a demonic seed of a child. That right there would, I mean, being pregnant and dealing with the emotional up and down and the nightmares and the dreams and the everything else that goes along with pregnancy, I couldn't imagine having this in the back of her head as well and thinking about it on a daily basis. Like, what am I carrying? What is this child that I'm carrying? and that she would have to carry this child full term, only to then know for a fact where this child came from. I mean, that would make me sick beyond belief.
That's what I said. She has a really hard decision to make. Um, and Dawn, I agree with you 100% because we know that the Lord said that that your seed, anonymity between the seed that it shall not work no more. So we know that they're not able to do that anymore, and that again goes down that deep hole as to.
Well, obviously, we
I'm
know
going to go
something
back
is
to.
doing it because
I'm
there
going to
are,
revert back
yeah, there.
to Dana. Let's go back to Dana's comment and let's theorize off of what Dana Ortega said. She said that she was lent to his master. So Dana, I'm going to ask you this question based off your comment, and I'm only theorizing off of your comment. Do you believe that it is possible that he was mixed up in this, which he could be mixed up in a cult, and at work he has a friend that may be into the cult? And do you think that maybe he allowed a friend and he loaned his wife out to her and she became impregnated by him because he wanted a baby? I mean that is a deep. I mean, I hate to
Yeah,
even
but
speculate that deep.
yeah, well, with all the rest of the stuff that's been coming in and being heard about lately, and it wouldn't surprise me. Just another twist to all of the crazy shenanigans that go on within this community. So, yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
It's
Yeah, sunshine.
exactly sunshine. That is true. That does happen.
I don't
Well,
know. I'm
Sabrina,
lost.
if that were the case, Sabrina, there is, and I'm not saying this is the case with her. I'm just talking about cases I've read. Again, if this was preparing for a case, we would be talking case law right now. There is case, and it would be case law in the cryptic field. So this really has no no traction. We're totally in a field of it is not recognized as law, but that's what it would be. And by case law and theorizing on saying to aliens, I believe aliens to be demons, but there is also what we would call, I guess, case law in the cryptic world and the UFOology that if she was impregnated by, say, a being, that she may be in for another encounter and the child could be removed and she may no longer be pregnant. That happens. And I hope that's not the case.
But how far along is she?
I wrote it down. Hold on. I have to go to my
Because
notes.
usually, if that happens in all of the cases that I've heard, they don't actually get past like the second
12,
term
12,
to the
12
point where
weeks.
they. Yeah. Okay. So then that if that was the case, and it would follow that same line with the alien type demonic impregnating abductions, that would follow or correlate that she would end up having another, because normally in those situations, by the time they even go into the doctor, they can tell that she had been pregnant, but there's no child. They don't even
And
show.
I'm probably going to pronounce your name wrong, and I apologize, but Olivier, I think you have a good point because while you said that, you just made me realize something. She had a bad headache that night, and it makes me wonder: did he give her 2 Tylenol? Was that Tylenol that he gave her? Thank you for that, sunshine. God bless you. Did he drug her knowing that somebody was going to come the next morning and do that, and it wasn't going to be him? because she was super tired and took a nap. And she wasn't known to be taking naps. She was known to be a hard worker and cleaning the house. And then all of a sudden, he was telling her, "You need to rest. You need to rest. You need to rest." And the night that she said she had a headache, he handed her two pills, and she assumed they were Tylenol, and she took them. And the next day, she was super tired, took a nap, and then she's pregnant.
Oh yeah, the whisker burn. Was that the same night? That was the night.
Same night, yeah, that he gave her the
Yes.
Tylenol, the alleged Tylenol.
Well, no, she had the whisker burn and laid down, and that's when she was visited by whoever, right? It was that afternoon.
Right. Right. I would be questioning the Tylenol. I would have a toxicologist. It's too late now, but I would be questioning: did he really give her Tylenol, or was she set up, drugged, and impregnated?
Well, again, what was the scratching on the back of the neck?
He lied to her. He really didn't shave. He was just lying to her.
But she
I
said that
don't think
he
that really,
had a smooth face, that he did shave.
but it wasn't him. She never turned around and looked. So if he drugged her the night before and told her it was two Tylenol, he lied to her the next morning, whisker burned her because he really didn't shave. And then somebody arrived later that day while she was taking a nap after taking those two pills and was super tired and then became impregnated. She only felt that this person was shaved. She never looked and confirmed it.
Hmm.
That almost, I mean,
Well, I definitely think something had happened that whether it was the Tylenol or there was something. And what with the hair and the
and Dana, you
brush?
be good
I don't
right
know.
now while we're talking about that.
What?
I know Dana's itching. I know she's
Oh,
itching. But I'm thinking that I think I have to go with she was drugged. I think he and and I don't want her to take my opinion on that and say that's what happened. I'm just speculating. I don't have all. But man, it fits.
oh
It
yeah.
fits really well.
That that is a good question. Where does the ring fit into this?
She never mentioned it anymore after that. The only thing I can figure that the ring brought into this is that the ring was antique, the doll was antique, the Ouija board was antique. So whoever owned the home, I'm guessing, was probably into dark antique items.
Hmm. Why the injury to her toes?
That could be
Getting
that little
her
possessed
attention.
doll. Was that little
Hmm.
possessed doll really biting her? Or
Probably.
was or was it the doll, or was it whoever this guy had intended to impregnate her? Was he in the house that night and just a weirdo and was biting her?
Ew.
You know?
That's why I keep my toes under the covers. Well, that and my cat, but
Starfire says the ring is part of the ritual.
uh-huh.
The house was built. She's gonna make me pull my notes back up, isn't she?
18 something.
1800s. I remember. Hold on, I'll pull it up just for you, CRJ. The home was built in the 1890s, is what she said.
Yeah, I think the husband might know more than what he's saying.
Right.
Well, somebody does.
Thank you, Virginia. I appreciate you saying that and showing up. It's always good to see you. Good night. But yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I would know to go with. And remember, guys, if any of y'all are interested in co hosting, please send me an email. We are looking desperately right now for a fourth person. So Anyone interested, the email is at the bottom of the screen, scrolling on the bar down there. Just send me an email. Or if you want to, if you know my Facebook, you can send me a personal message and I will get back to it too.
Yeah, you know, Olivier also said, you don't just start playing with Ouija boards out of nowhere. That's true. So there's something to this. There's something more. And I agree, Nanny Pam.
Right.
I mean,
Well, guys, I mean, you could go down a million different rabbit holes on this one. That's why I told her I really don't have an answer. I mean, if she would have known sooner, she could have done a toxicology to see if there's a really Tylenol. That would have told her a lot, but it's too late now. Um,
well, I don't know. There's so many questions to this. I My
I
mind
don't.
is
Yeah,
reeling.
yeah, for sure. If I get any updates, Segador, I will definitely put it out there.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got for this one, guys. I mean, and again, if you're interested in co-hosting, send me an email. I would love to hear from you, and we'll see what we can do. It's just a temporary deal right now. It's not that it would be every time, but it could turn into an every time deal. We're just trying to we're filling some things out. We're trying to see what road we want to go down and what we want to do. So, um, I guess I'll give you your last words.
Hmm. I'm sorry. I'm still just, my mind is reeling on this. Okay. So, if anybody else in the comments has any ideas, please make sure you post them in the comments afterwards because I love reading those and I would like to know what you guys' conclusions are, what you guys think. But that being said, thank you everybody for being here tonight. Appreciate each and every one of you. Truly appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Um, Making sure you're hitting that like, subscribed. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for each and every single one of you. So it's very important that you truly know how much we appreciate you. Please, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, stay who you are, stay true, and keep everyone in your prayers. We'll see you next time. God bless.
Guys, again, we couldn't do this without you. I hope that y'all really enjoy these. I enjoy doing these. They do take a little bit of time, but I think they're worth it. I think it's interesting to investigate these things to be able to give us a better understanding of what's going on and what's happening to other people. It's a look into the unknown. It gives us something to go off of. Um, Again, I'd like to say, Hunter, I love you so very much. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Oklahoma and probably surrounding areas, there's going to be some storms coming. So if you do have any damage, don't forget to get a hold of Larry Fisher and Sons. There's the information. You can contact him, and he should be able to help you with anything you need to do, any damages, insurance adjusters. He does everything. Really good guy. Easy to talk to, has a big heart, and he will work with you. So check Larry out. And as always, I love you, Hunter. I miss you more than anything in the world. I can't wait to see you and to pick up where we left off. Have a lot of plans. And as always, guys, until next time, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And we'll see you on the next one. Good night.